Good morning from Okoboji in the Iowa Great Lakes. I'm Kirk Stoss with Stoss Realty. And today we're going to learn a whole lot about I'd call the old bank building in downtown Spirit Lake. So Maria,
Yep.
I understand you've got some fabulous plans and ideas for this. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to get out of the way. I want you to tell us all what's going on, okay?
All right.
Good.
Sounds good. Well, Kevin Kuhlman bought this building just January 13th last month. So it's actually known as the Stevens Black Building. It was built in 1892. And an interesting fact about this is that it was the first power source for the city back in the early 1900s. And Stevens, who built the building, donated it to the city, which was like unheard of back then, but it was worth about $15,000, which was a lot of money back then. So it was originally 5 units. With businesses in each unit as well as downstairs. So what we're trying to do is bring it back to the 5 units. We're thinking maybe some information we find about the building and little artifacts that we can maybe display in this in the future. So this is what would be like the president of the bank's office. Had windows overlooking the front of the bank as well as the side, which is, since the Y bought it, and other businesses more modern, they've kind of renoed that. We're gonna unreno it, open it back up, but keep all the windows just because it's a really neat focal point. Now, prior to the fire, this was a 400-person opera house up here, as well as the Masonic Lodge, and I believe it's called the Pythias Lodge. Not sure on the pronunciation of that one. So then after the fire, they eliminated the opera house, added, I think it's 12 business suites that house doctors, chiropractors, I think a dentist, a lawyer, a environment society, and kind of that thereof. And then they made the Masonic Lodge bigger, and then the Pythias Lodge a little bigger too. So we're assuming that this upstairs hasn't really been utilized since the 50s, is our guess. The wood floor is still good. So as we're tearing stuff down, we've been covering that so that once we're done renovating, we can sand this and seal it and keep as much original as we can. You can kind of see where everything was. And I just laugh because like this used to be a doctor's office. And like in the back was his private area, the door said private. So he just would see his patients in this small little room and call her a day. Here is the ballroom, which is really the Masonic Lodge. And then the ceiling was all ruined with water damage and mold, so they got that all torn down. Then you can see they're saving all the trim. They've been tearing down the sheetrock from that brick wall. We're gonna try and keep that as long as we can, as long as the architect tells us we can. And that wall back there over the stage per se is a brick wall as well, so that'll all be exposed. And once we kind of get what we can do according to code, then we'll have a better plan for what's going to happen up here. It's another really big room with boarded up windows that aren't insulated, which is why it's so cold up here. But over here are all the doors that they've removed. Of course, you can't see any with words on them. But we're saving the frame and the doors and the windows. We're going to clean them up and try and reuse them if we can, where we can. So it's just, you know, the detail and stuff that they did back then is nothing like they do now. So this is unit 3, and just watch your step here. So these are the locker rooms for the Y. These are gonna be eventually kind of torn out, we're just not quite sure how yet, to make more space up front for a tenant. And then this is the one that has the tin ceiling. So we were originally told it needed to come down, and then the fire marshal looked at it and said it can actually stay. So we're gonna kind of repair where it's been torn down, and this wall was an add-on from the Y, and the tin actually goes all the way back, it's just black. So we're gonna have to do some finagling to get that going. But then this will be a big unit that'll be ready for rentals fairly soon. Unit 5. And this is kind of where where they're just doing all the woodworking now. This is a really big unit too. I think it's almost like 1,800 square feet. And it comes with 2 bathrooms and a break room. So this will be, you know, someone who wants it. We've had a few people interested in it. Andrew Fisher at the Y kind of described this best. He said it's like a labyrinth. And when everything was walled up, it really was. So this one was like wide open. And then this unit had like old shelving all the way down. And then this doorway here at the end is where like the old boiler system used to be. The cast iron pipe is still here. You can kind of see that'll be coming out eventually because it's just adding weight. But it's like all this old history down here. So, I mean, and this one's like a really big walk-in one. I think it's still got some shelves in it. There was all these old bank boxes everywhere with dimes and quarters and pennies. So I don't know how old those are.